We are back in a recording mode. And in today's session, we are going to provide you with tools and strategies that will improve your assessment and inquiry. So, my name is Mihai Catrinar, and I'm a teacher, physical education teacher at Tech International Qatar. And today I'm going to present together with Matthew Bassett. And we are going to share some of our successful practices and ideas. And just to start the presentation, I'm teaching mostly early ages, and I use my personal iPad since I can keep myself updated and get the latest available. The school provides also one iPad for every 2 students, so I have the chance to apply most of the tools that I planned for, and it's a pretty good ratio at the moment. We hope that we're going to get 1-on-1 ratio. There's a Wi-Fi covering indoor and outdoor, and also our students have email address and online portfolios. We have also a YouTube channel and a dedicated PE blog, and that makes communication with the parents much
hang on one
easier.
second. Mihai, we're having a lot of feedback. So
yeah.
Can you hear that feedback?
That's my fault.
Can you go ahead and push mute for me, Matthew?
Okay, so I think
we're good to go. Go ahead.
So I would like Matthew to step in and introduce himself as well.
I'm a physical education teacher in Southern California. I teach at a K-8 charter school. I currently have just a couple of iPads that I use for class and an old iPod Touch, and I have my personal iPhone. Our students in 6th and 7th grade currently have a one-to-one program for MacBook Air, but we also are starting to roll out iPads to our students in K through 5. So it'll be really exciting to be able to use a lot of these assessments with a lot of my students next year. I'm really excited about that.
Cool. You mind if I step in here too? Hey, my name's Colin Brooks. I'm from the Phys Ed Summit team, and we are just giving both Mihai and Matthew just another roll at iPads and PE. Last week during the Phys Ed Summit, Mihai got stuck in a sandstorm in Dubai, and now this is our opportunity to hear just some awesome things that they both want to share about using a mobile device and iPads in physical education. So I will be on today's meet, and I will be on Twitter using hashtag PhysEdSummit. So feel free to talk to me, and I will relay some questions to these guys. All right, back to you guys.
All right, so it's 7 a.m. here in Doha, so it's sunny today, so I hope we're not going to get interrupted. So just for you to be aware of that, we have inserted in most of our slides QR codes. So these QR codes will connect you and will take you to useful links with resources that we've thought that they might be helpful for the ones watching this presentation. So while we are talking, you can grab your mobile and just get ready to scan. You might find some interesting resources, as I said. And we want to start with asking, this question: what are the benefits of integrating technology in the PE lesson? And there are various answers. And definitely, we can say that when our students have access to various tools and resources, they can express and communicate. They can express themselves, and they can communicate their learning in a different way. So it will definitely improve their student learning. And also, when a culture of creativity and innovation it's being encouraged, they're all learning, and they can create new solutions. So that is increasing our teaching efficiency as well. Alongside with that, I'm a firm believer that we are learners, and technology is a way that can connect us with them, and they are learners too. and when connected with them, we are totally engaged as a team in this learning process. So therefore, why not using iPads and any mobile devices in our lessons? And we have tried moving along now to identify the main assessment areas where we focus in physical education, and this is where we can just divide this into the assessing process itself, the way we discover what students know, and how do we shape the next assessment, and how do we shape the next steps in learning. And also we have the recording, and this is when technology can make a big difference, speeding up the process and making the third part that I put down here, the reporting, really easy. We can create real-time feedback, connect with the students while they're at home, and connect with the parents, sharing what it was learned in the classroom. And just to make a really good point here is the types of assessment that we use, and there is a difference between the formative assessment and the summative assessment. Formative assessment, it's in a way that it's good to know that what students understand, and it will provide us with information that will help us to plan the next stage in learning, and it will definitely help us to plan better. And also it will promote learning, since we can give feedback on a regular basis to the students. In the next slides, you're going to see how do we use formative assessment through various tools. It can be video analysis or just simply QR codes sparking their curiosity. And on the other side, we have the summative assessment, which will give us a clear, hopefully a clear insight about what students have achieved. And it should be a culmination and celebration of learning. And through the experience I have so far, we did achieve that with the help of technology, and not only with that, but it does give an incentive to what we are doing, and it does connect us better with the students. Now, moving to the first part that I want to share, I don't think these are new to anyone watching this presentation, but QR codes, they offer like so many opportunities to be used in the PE lesson. And if you just scan the codes, you can see, you're just going to access a link where you can see how I use them in early ages, students age 4 and 5 years old. And it was a summative assessment. We organized a scavenger hunt, and they really had fun. They were scanning QR codes. They were watching a movie. In that movie, their teachers recorded before the session, and the teachers were encouraging them to do various fitness movements, jumping jacks, planks, crab walks, angry gorilla walks, and so on. So they really loved this experience. And then at the end of this assessment, we performed a group assessment where they could see what they have done, and that was one way to use the QR codes. Now recently we took it a little bit farther, and I've used QR codes in a collaboration with my colleague, Spanish teacher. Her name is Carmen Fernandez in my school. You can take a look at this video. All right, so pre-5 students, the Spanish teacher recorded them. She created audio files. She embedded them in QR codes. Then I displayed those QR codes inside the gym. And we just launched the students into a process of acquiring language through movement. And they were happy to scan the codes, to listen. So we encouraged their phonetic skills to listen to the file they had embedded there in the QR code, and then they had to perform to show their understanding, and they had to perform the movement of that specific animal. They are into the ocean animals unit right now, and they did it well. And what we didn't plan for, it was that we had a couple of students with pretty good level of Spanish, and further on we just encouraged them to help their peers. So it turned into a peer assessment where the students with better abilities, better language abilities, were scanning together with the ones that needed more help, and it turned to a very successful peer assessment that we then shared with the entire classroom. I don't know where is it going to go from now, but I'm sure we're gonna shape it into even better idea next time when doing this collaboration. So this is one way to use the QR codes in the classroom. Collaboration, Scavenger Hunt. I use it sometimes just to launch a provocation at the beginning of a unit of inquiry, or just simply to introduce a game, encouraging the teamwork and the collaboration between small groups of students. They just have to scan a code, watch a video tutorial about the game, and then they put it into practice, and I can just like observe their skills, their communication skills, and their understanding of the content introduced to them. Now moving on, the Coach's Eye app used for video analysis, and I used it first again with pre-4 and pre-5 students, age 4 and 5 years old, and the parents liked it so much. Why did they like it? I spent some time with them, and they said it is just a great opportunity for them to step in the classroom, in the gym, without being there actually, and just to have a feedback about what their students are capable to do. So verbal doesn't help all the time. Okay, they might imagine what their children can do, but the visuals can really give them the real image of what's happening in the gym. So this is how I use it with grade 1 students at the moment, into the movement skills. We're into the movement, basic movement skills unit, and this is one type of assessment.
Mihai, are you using headsets?
Yes.
Take off one of your earbuds and put the one side up to the microphone on your laptop so you can hear a little bit better.
I don't know, is it working better?
Yeah, it's working better.
Some other skills that you're practicing and learning during the All right, so this is a way to use Coach's Eye, and it is good because since we are co-teaching, so I'm teaching with another colleague of mine that is helping me. It is much easier for us to take time and really have a face-to-face assessment with the student. So after recording it for, say, a short burst of his skill, maybe like 10-15 seconds, I can just sit down and I can give a feedback to the student. Then he can he can give me also feedback about his understanding on the unit, or he can have any type of input. In this case, Itan, this is a student from the United States. He has a pretty good understanding, and he can really reproduce the related PE concept that we used in this unit, and he's really proving good knowledge of what we did in this unit. Also, if you look on the right side of the slide, this app has a special feature that gives you the opportunity to compare various performances, and it's just a great way for any educator to point out the differences between doing the same skill, or just to point out different skills, and to engage students into a reflection. You can easily, if you have a big screen near your PE gym or where you're teaching, it will be easier to mirror it and actually engage students in a very interesting inquiry, from where you can drive their questions and shape the next steps in learning. So that's one way to use Coach's Eye. I just posted a QR code, and here it will take you straight to the iTunes app if you're interested to take a look. Now next, I think Matt will just have something to say about.
Yeah, I have a lot of different peer assessment worksheets that I've been using with my kids over the years, starting as low as 3rd grade and working all the way up through my middle school. These paper and pencil were really important. Where I had a student interaction many years ago, student was using one of these and was yelling at his partner because I was doing this the correct way. So I've taken these and I've used them as a video assessment for the students, where they can actually do a peer assessment where somebody's watching them, or a video assessment where they're watching themselves record a skill and then to give themselves feedback. So these are just a couple of examples. One's a basketball, one's a frisbee, and if you scan the QR codes, you'll see some of the other peer assessments. If you're interested in some of the other ones that I have, just reach out to me, email, Twitter, and I can probably gather up a lot of them. So, and then I think the next slide is kind of just Coach's Eye is just one of the many video analysis apps that are out there, and you'll see quite a few that are on here, and each one has its benefits. Each one has some issues, but whatever works best for you, just keep using it. And did we miss any? Let us know, and we can add them to the list.
Yeah, maybe BAM delay. We've been talking about that. Remember?
Yeah, that's a big one that I've been using an awful lot. You can't record it unless you have your Mac laptop connected with Reflector, but that is a really cool one. I think Kevin Tiller, I just talked to him, and he said he called it instant replay, and he uses it as station and with his students.
Yes, yes. I think Jared Robinson here, the PE geek, so he used it with the short throw projector. So he's going to project it right in the gym, so he's just setting a delay of a few minutes. Then whenever he wants to stop and highlight a certain technique or skill, he's just going to stop the game, and students can have a look at on the screen, and he can highlight anything he wants to really make students understand about. So I think it's a great way to use it. We haven't added here, but BAM delay, go for it. That's a great tool. So the next one, Dartfish Easy Tag. Great way. It offers the possibility to engage students as observers in the lesson, and it gives them the chance to experience new roles and responsibilities. Now, what I do often, I assign the students to, and especially the injured students, injured or not sometimes, so I assign them to observe various skills performed by a team or small groups or even individuals, and this can be done by simply tapping on the screen. So what I do, I just preset. There are various ways to organize your panels, and depending on how many skills you want to observe, or how many players you want to observe in let's say a basketball game, you can you have the option to customize that. And from the beginning of the activity, you can assign one of the students to with a clear task about what to observe and what you're intending to have in terms of feedback from him or her, and it works pretty well. I have done it even with a pre-4 student, a girl who injured her arm, but she could still hold the iPad, sitting on her stroller, and her parents were pretty strict about her joining the PE lesson, even though she was injured. So I really admire that, and she did it pretty well. She was observing various movement skills such as running, jumping, skipping, or hopping in this case you see on the screen, and I just asked her to observe one of her colleagues, and if you just scan the codes, this will take you to my blog, where you can have a detailed description of how I used Dartfish. So great way to encourage non-participants to support the teacher, to observe peers, and a great way to do a peer assessment, which at the end of the lesson can provide a very constructive feedback. Now, super burst and replay. So I just highlighted here, if you look at the pictures on the slide, this is my son. We've been joining a Spartan race. In the weekend, we got stuck in the sandstorm. So that's a very nice way to create quick videos, and I use it in my personal life, but especially in the school. And the way we do it is that during a lesson, we just take a few relevant shots that we think they're going to really students will connect students best to the lesson when they're going to see them. And by just selecting and tapping on the screen of the shots we have taken, this app, the replay app, compiles them into a very good-looking movie. You have like around 21 styles of editing. It has inserted free music embedded in the app. And with the product created, while the students are grabbing their bottles and they're on the way out of the gym, I can just mirror the movie straight away. It takes less than 2 minutes to create the movie. I can just mirror it straight away on the screen, and we can start a reflection about what happened in the lesson. We can drive student questions from it, and it's a great way. They feel motivated when they see themselves, and I think this is the greatest thing that video apps are helping us to bring in the PE lesson. And talking about super burst, that's a really great way to produce slow motion captures. And what I did in one of the movement composition units, we have recorded students doing various skills, such as maybe gymnastic elements, such as handstand or forward rolls, and we record them in slow motion with super burst. Then we compile this files in a replay app, and we created a movie. It is just mind-blowing the way it can shape our experience. So students were really excited to see themselves in slow motion and to really be able to analyze their moves. And it was easier for us to really make them understand what we want them to achieve. So that's a great way to enhance their learning. Super burst and replay. So if you scan the QR code, it will take you straight to my blog as well, and you can see a very short tutorial of how to use it. And I just shared the way it works for me. Again, you can use it in personal life. Very, very easy and very effective. Next, the class Dojo. So I use this app, and you can also have it on your PC, just to track behavior and engagement of the students. and it's a very nice way to give a real-time feedback to the students, and especially with the early ages. So at the beginning of the year, I just create groups of their classes, and I just send a notice to the parents that they should, if they are willing to join, they can join this this program. And what's happening is that students, they have their own app from where they can change their class avatars, so they really enjoy that one. It has like some funny monsters they can relate to. And parents, they have a separate app from where they can see the feedback I'm giving to them. Now, the way I'm giving feedback to the students is that I'm using the related concepts, the PE-related concepts, and the attitudes we model in the unit. I'm using them as a reward for the students. So in this case, like if you look on the right, on the picture on the right side, I can award Martin for asking questions and being curious, or I can award him for being independent and trying, let's say, a new skill on his own without the help of any of his peers. Or just simply, if he's not participating in the lesson, if he's injured, I can award him for being a great observer and giving me a feedback for one of his colleagues. Also about being open-minded, and you can think of so many other concepts or attitudes that we want to model, and we want to give a purpose of what's happening in the lesson. Another great feature of this this program is that you can send files or you can send instant messages, and it's just really great for parents. You know, they can just look at the watch and say, oh, it's 10 o'clock, Martin just finished his PE lesson, and maybe in like 3-4 minutes they're going to get the feedback from myself. It can be a picture or just like a short comment about what Martin did in that lesson. So isn't that great? So go ahead, scan the code, and take a look. It might help and enhance your students' activity. Class Dojo. Next, Just Dance and Zumba. This is really the inspired from Jared Robinson, the PE geek. Listen to his podcast. He has like amazing resources to share with everyone, and he's doing workshops around the world. You have to reach him if you haven't yet. So Just Dance and Zumba, I'm using it, and the students, they just love it. Take a short look here. Grade 1 students having fun. Just like dynamite, isn't it? So these are grade 1 students, totally engaged. I use this as a warm-up. It can be an energizer, just like a short break if I feel they're like disconnected or I'm not as good as they expect me to be. And it is just a fantastic way to let them move and enjoy beside the dance that everyone sees maybe in this video clip. They really move, enjoy themselves, and connect with each other. Sometimes they dance by pairs, and they're giving cues ahead in these videos, and they really like it. Another way it can enhance your dance unit, and the best way is to use Zumba. And I did this by inviting instructors in our lessons. We have parents, mothers of students who are teaching classes of Zumba, but also you can do it yourself. And it gives Zumba app gives so many features that you can have a full class, you can have a fitness plan to run with the students, or just simply learn the steps like in this picture where we can just have an inquiry into salsa steps. And you can try any that you want in here, and students can have fun. So Just Dance and Zumba, I just posted the QR code. And if you scan it, it's at the end of the slide and resources. You can just like have a look at and check it. Coach note: another app that I'm using to introduce games and to check on students' understanding and especially on their communication skills. And I do that by just simply taking a picture of the gym or of the outdoor and having everything set for the lesson. I'll take this picture and I will mirror it on the screen before they enter the gym or go to the playground. In this way, and I can explain them what are the goals of this of the activity, and assign them by teams or pairs, or depending on the task we have in mind. And they really connect well through this strategy. You can use it also as in your tactics if you're coaching teams, and easily represent the position of your players. It has drawing tools and even a stopwatch timer. So Coach Note, a great way to custom your lessons in your own way and to introduce various games, strategies, and tactics in your games. The last one I'm going to present today is Easy Portfolio. And as I said at the beginning of this slide, that's talking about our assessment and reporting it. Easy Portfolio just gives a great way to connect with parents and students. And it will let you just add videos, images, files, when you can record students' voices and add any other resources that you feel that are relevant for your units. The way I do it, I take short pictures whenever I feel that a skill is relevant to be shown to the students afterward with parents. I also add videos with students' reflections, and also at the end of the day I add my notes about what worked well or not, and what am I going to do in the next sessions or so. It has also a feature of adding documents, and this is where I add my weekly plans, and in this way I can relate very well, for example, in the students, teachers, parents meetings, I can highlight what's happening in the classroom and in the PE environment. Now, one of the greatest features is that you can export the portfolios you created. So if I have grade 1, for example, the grade 1 portfolio in here, I can just export it entirely with pictures, video reflections, and even my personal notes to, although I won't advise you to do so sometimes, you never know what you live in there. So I can export it to the parents, and I did that a couple of times, and they were really blown away about the way we can reflect what we are doing. So this is Easy Portfolio, a great way to record and report our assessments. So from here on, I'm going to pass it to
Mihai, before
Matt.
we get going, your Easy portfolio, do you use that as a per student portfolio or per class, or just overall general?
So I'm setting it per class, and I think it's more relevant. But sometimes if we track a student, that's a great idea, Matt. If you want to track a student, and if you really want to emphasize certain practices or behaviors, I think it's a great idea. You can create one just for a student. You can upload your files, photos, reflections, your own notes or student notes, and I think it can be used also as a great peer assessment with all the students, which for you it's more suitable. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it sounds like an interesting idea to be able to use it as a class. It'd be kind of cool to be able to download, like you were saying, all of the video files or the pictures. So
yes, they are easily exported in Dropbox, and very easy to manage afterwards. And actually, it's a great way to just sum up your units. You have a one folder. You don't have to grab them from various devices. You just store them in one device, one app. Then you export them into your computer, and you have all the evidence of your learning and what's happened in your unit.
Cool. All right, Mihai, I got my laptop back working, so I'll take over screen sharing just to make it a little easier.
Excited. So I'm going to exit.
Yes.
Good.
All right, so. All right, can we see my full screen? Colin, are you able to see mine?
Yeah, we're good to go,
All
man.
right. All right, well,
Yes, I see it.
My thing is I wanted to kind of talk about different cognitive connections that I use for my iPad. How do I use the iPad instead of paper pencil? Sketch was an easy one. It allows you to annotate pictures or documents if you would like. What I did is I actually took a picture. I had one of my kindergartners take a picture of myself one day. We just finished up a unit on balancing on different body parts. So what I ended up doing was I basically handed my iPad around to students and said, what body parts can you balance on if I asked you to balance on different body parts? So if you want to scan this QR code that's to the Sketch app, if you're interested, I'm going to go ahead and let you scan this QR code right here. This is a QR code that kind of shows a screen recording of how I was using it with my kindergartners and letting them kind of use the iPad to annotate what the concept of balance was. Comic Life is something that I've just started to use this year. Was able to really get some ideas through Kevin Tiller and his website. We use the Comic Life to help me get some of my non-suits who are unable to participate. I could hand them the iPad, they'd go out. They were able to make these really cool forearm pass posters that were based upon what I was expecting of them. A really good assessment tool, and that I can double check that they understand what it is that we're learning in class and can go back to the class and help them learn a little bit more. It also gave me an opportunity to show them different parts of the iPad, and they were kind of busy walking around doing these activities while the other students were participating in class. If you'd like to see a couple of these forum pass posters a little bit closer up, go ahead and scan the QR code that's here. Fitness assessment, I have learned a couple of apps that really helps me to teach pacing to my students. Run Lap Tap is a really easy fitness tracking. It helps me to track up to 12 different runners. You can load pictures, you can add student names in there and select which ones you want to watch for the day. When you're done, it'll allow you to email your information, and it gets the different information back to the students about their run, and you can talk about pacing with your students. I like a little bit different app. It only allows me to track 6 people. It's called Multi-Stop. And what it allows me to do is I can actually see the data on my iPad when I'm done, and I can use it on my phone and my iPod Touch. What I do is I come back and I'll talk to my students. Let's say Bob here. He ran a 1:43 first lap and a 2:46 second lap. So I can talk about how his pacing in the first lap was a little fast because he went almost a little over a minute slower in the second lap. So if I was to compare them to Pa over here, you had a 1:30 first lap, 1:31 second lap. That shows me that they have a good pacing. So I can use numbers, and the students understand what they're doing a lot better when they're using numbers instead of just saying your pacing is too fast at the beginning. What I do with it is I use an app. I have a couple students that still struggle with actually putting some effort forward, and I use this one called X Timer. It's this interval training app. So I go ahead and I program in when we go and when we run and when we walk, run and walk and run and walk. And I do it for a pretty long, like 10 to 15 minute time to cover the whole time that we're going to be running. So what it allows me to do is with those students that really, really struggle with trying to do much more than a walk, it hopefully gets them used to running at least a little bit, and then I can manipulate the run time and make them longer, and I can also manipulate the walk times and make them smaller so that it'll help the students, and it'll help them to start to get a little more motivated, and I find that they'll do a little bit better in their run and that they will start to improve. When they start to see their numbers come down, they get a little more excited, and it just kind of snowballs in a good way. The next cognitive connection that I'd like to talk about is whiteboard. The idea here was I was talking with Terry Drain many years ago, and just to draw the 4 steps of a throw. So on this, I basically could hand a student my iPad, or you could have groups using like 5 students for one iPad. Go ahead and I can do the T with the ball, L, bending your elbow, step with your forward foot, and then the follow through is the tickle stage. So I could literally, as a closure one day, said, you can draw me the 4 steps of the overhand throw, and I could go back and look really quickly to see if they understand the 4 steps based upon their picture. Another cognitive connection that I have learned about and started using this year is called Edmodo. It's an online environment. It's very similar to how a Facebook user would set up. It allows you to add assignments, create polls, create quizzes, post links for the students, send messages directly to the students. This is actually a quiz that I gave to the student, and I'll show you the other part in just a few minutes. What I can do is I can set up the type of answer I'm expecting from them, how many points it's worth. There is a grade book a part of this, although I didn't use it. How long you're going to go ahead and give them. You can assign the whole class a quiz, and you can actually set it up so it'll open up 5 minutes before your class starts so that they can't do it beforehand. And then the students can take this online through the Edmodo app or online at Edmodo directly. Google Forms is another way to do the same thing with the online quizzes, where you can have the students put their names in, and then they can have these different types of questions that they can answer. This is really good for checking for understanding and checking the content knowledge for your students. Also, Kevin Tiller on his website, and here's a QR code that will show you some examples. We have where you can start to put in pictures and or videos now. So he actually started to use, and I think this was from Comic Life, where he had the 3 pictures and he had an A, B, or C. And then you come down here and the actual question that you're answering in the Google form is what picture shows a straight pathway. And then he had a couple of follow-up questions that also talked about a curved and a zigzag. One of the things I want to point out is if you do go to his website, don't actually fill out the forms and submit them, because they're actually designed for his students, and he wants to keep all of the data for his students. Some other further exploration, Matt Pomeroy, just a week or so ago, had posted a Google presentation that he had created called Google Tools for the 4 Cs, and it gives you some more information about Google. Also, there was a GAF presentation, and it's not going on now. It was at the Phys Ed Summit last weekend, and I would definitely go check that out and get some more ideas of how to do add-ons. There's some pretty cool things out there if you're willing to take the time, from being able to have your students' names populate the list to emailing the students or the parents as soon as their information is downloaded. I know of quite a few teachers who are using it to track learning for their students, but also to test the students on their cognitive connections to the activities, or to do some kind of self-reflection at the end of class. A new thing that's just been really hot in education right now is the use of Plickers. I finally caved and decided to try it a couple of weeks ago just to give it a try. These are Plickers cards, and what you do is you ask a question of the students and you scan them. You'll see that on the card, the green arrow circles, you'll see that there are letters under them, A, B, C, or D. And then the way that they hold it up, if B is facing up, the student would answer the B answer for a multiple choice. You could also do true or false for A or B. The side, you'll see the red, it shows the number of the students, so these are actually individualized, and you can actually put the students' names on so that you can actually get feedback and know what little Johnny said compared to little Sally. So here is a set of Plickers. This is the same card, but you'll see that I have the A answer, the B answer, the C answer, and the D answer. So you just hold them up a different way. And then this is a little video that I created now, how you scan the cards in class. So I'm going to go ahead and show that real quick. It's not very long. So you see the question that I had there. I just did a self-assessment with my students to get used to it. Then I go down and I tap on the camera that was on the bottom when I'm ready to scan the class. And then I was able to just go through, and you see when that little orange rectangle-ish thing kind of pops up, that's the scanner. It's actually registering what the answer are. And then when you get a little further on, you can see how the students answered as a class at the top or as an individual student at the bottom. You can see that number 2 wasn't on there, so you can actually go ahead and figure out what where number 2 is, and you can figure out how to get them in. If you want to see that whole video again, it's right here on the QR code. When you get done on the phone, you're going to be able to get the registered numbers here on the left, and you can also do this online and get the information here, and you can save the information and refer back to it later. Another further explanation, if you want to check out Ben Perillo, which is at Coach Perillo on Twitter, this is a video that he created how to set up a Plickr account. It'd be really good for you to be able to look at that. and walk you through step by step how to get started with Plickers in class and how to set up, get your students' names in there, and how to use them. I also like to use teacher-created assessments. The two that I use are iMovie is a pretty basic one. I like Pinnacle Studio a little bit better. I'm more of a PC person, so I use that on my desktop at home. But you also have things like Explain Everything, Educreations, and Show Me. You can actually create stations where the videos are actually what the students are being assessed by, or you're having the videos where the students are watching. So I have a couple of videos here. I did this one just kind of silly one day in my office before everybody showed up, and I did what's wrong with this fitnessgram push-up, because we all have students who display improper form, and I wanted them to be able to see what it was that I see, and the students can then refer to me. And I was using Edmodo at the time. We were able to basically ask a question, what's wrong with it, and I was able to check for understanding if the students understood it. This is a kind of a long one. I'm only going to show a little bit. Here's the QR code to watch all of it. I took a video from the Traveling Hoedowners, I believe is what their name is, where they were their videos on square dancing steps. And what I did was I asked the students what's the name of the step so I could check to see if they understood. I'm going to scan just a little bit forward so you can get the idea. So then on the students, what I would do is I would have them answer on paper and pencil or Edmodo or Google, what is the name of this activity that we were doing? And they would be able to tell me, hopefully, that it's the left and the right grand, and then I could check for understanding if they knew what they were going. Another thing I started last year, because my sixth graders had a one-to-one a laptop program, started wanting to making them to do video assessments on themselves to create a cognitive connection. So my 3 ideas are steps for completing a task. So how do you perform a forearm pass? Compare and contrast videos. What's different between this video that you started week 1 on an activity and week 3 on an activity? What's the same? What's different? And then you can also do movement analysis, kind of like what we were doing with the push-up video, but I could have the students actually videotape themselves. So this is a student that created one of my favorite ones from last year, and I've edited it down just a little bit to protect my student, but you'll see the video in its entirety here, the one that I'm going to show just a little bit for you.
Sixth grade physical education class, and today we'll be discussing volleyball. The ball went a little too high. Here's a replay. I should make the ball go forward, not up.
So you can see that I had a little bit of video analysis attached with it, and that the student was able to make some adjustments to his learning so that he could get better at the activity as a result of the videos. I had numerous rubrics that I had to create for these, so if you wanted to kind of get a look at a couple of them, go ahead and scan there, and if you have any problems, just let me know and I'll be happy to send them to you. I think right now is a good time to ask if there's anybody out there watching that have any questions or comments of either one of us, and let us know. While we're getting set for that, though, we have some contact information for both Mihai and myself. And you can scan those QR codes and either get right to your email or to go to your, like, my Twitter account.
Nice, thanks guys so much. We had a few people that are on today's meet, but it doesn't look like we have any questions. People definitely really enjoyed following along with your presentation, though, and yeah, it was awesome. Thanks, guys. I'm really glad that we can wait here for a few minutes to see if a few stream in, but I'm really glad that we had an opportunity to get both of you in the hangout, and it all worked out, and there was no sandstorms or snowstorms or anything that was happening, any kind of natural weather around the world. So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Colin and Matt. This was really a nice learning journey. And just looking at what we have achieved in the past weeks, you know, we have used a lot of technology. You know, for me, it was the first time on Voxer to communicate with Matt. then you use Skype, then you use Google Hangouts. I used it for the first time, you know. We did our presentations on Google Slides and Google Doc. I never done this before. And then now we are on YouTube, and we're going to share through Twitter, Facebook, and all this like social media, and it's all technology. And whatever you want to face it or not, it's happening, and we are using it. It makes a difference. Thanks a lot, Colin. This is really nice and a great opportunity. And thanks again, Matt. This I will definitely use some of your tools, especially Plickers. That's really a brain bender.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. That was awesome. Go ahead, Matthew.
Thank you, Colin, and the Phys-Edagogy team. I've been really excited about this opportunity. I got to meet this guy, Mihai, from the other side of the world, and after we figured out the whole time difference issue, we were able to get out and really kind of dig in and get to know each other and share a lot of cool ideas. Really excited about it, and I just appreciate the opportunity to be able to share, and hopefully somebody will take away something from it and improve their own assessments and using iPads in class.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thanks, guys, and thanks everyone who joined us tonight, and anyone that is going to watch recorded. So we appreciate it. All right. Have a good night or good morning.